Okay, Algebra 1, we are doing section 3-2, solving inequalities by adding or subtracting. This is actually very similar to how we solve equations, and so I don't anticipate this being difficult for you. Couple little things to remember is whatever you do to one side of an inequality, you must do to the other. You need to solve each inequality and graph the solutions. So I want you to show your work here. So just like when we solve equations, I like to draw the line through the inequality symbol. Locate your variable, ask what's happening. 9 is being added, so I am going to subtract 9 from both sides. X is less than 15 minus 9 is 6. So this is your answer. When you go to graph it, I just like you to have 5 numbers on there. 6 is in the middle, 7, 8, 5, 4. What kind of circle? We would have an open circle. X is less than 6. These numbers are less than 6. Remember that a number line does have an arrow on the other side, but our arrow is definitely going to the left. Next problem, draw your line. 3 is being subtracted from D, so I am going to add 3 to the other side. D is greater than -6 plus 3 is a -3. Make your number line. -3 is the middle number now. -2, -1, -4, -5. Open circle on 3. D is greater than. So to the right, those numbers are all larger. Okay. Next one, 0.4 is being subtracted from n. So you need to add 0.4. That cancels. Bring down your variable. Make sure you don't switch sides with your variable because unlike an equal sign, the inequality really matters which way it's pointing. So then I would add this and I'd get 1.1. Okay, 1.1. You could choose to go whole numbers on either side, or you could do like 1.2, 1.3, 1.0, 0.9. Either way, I'm okay with that. Close circle on 1.1. N is less than. 1.1 is greater than n, so the less than direction goes this way. Okay. The next one, I need to move the 3.5 to the other side by adding it. Bring down your Q. 7.5 plus 3.5 is 11. Oops, see, and I did the mistake of putting an equal sign there. It needs to be a less than symbol. So then I start with 11 in the middle, 12, 13, 10, 9. There is an open circle on the 11. Q is less than, so I go this direction. So you follow the same rules, you just have to be very careful about which way your arrows go and if you shade or leave your circle open. Okay, a couple application problems. The memory in Tiana's camera phone allows her to take up to 20 pictures. So can she take over 20 pictures? Nope. Can she take exactly 20 pictures? Yes. Tiana has already taken 16 pictures. Write and solve and graph an inequality. Show how many more pictures Tiana could take. Well, she's already taken 16. So they want to know how many more can she take, but it has to stay less than or equal to 20. So here is your inequality. Okay, the next part is to solve it. So then you would subtract 16 from both sides. P is less than or equal to 4. There's your answer. There's 3 parts to this. And then when we're given a word problem, you can do a graph, but you have to be thoughtful here because can you have negatives, partials, anything like that, decimals, when we are talking about photos? And the answer is no. So your answer here is going to be include 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. It's not a solid line because you can't include, it's not like 1.5 pictures, or it's not -2 pictures. So it has to be, just include those whole numbers there. The next one, it says the recommended dietary allowance of iron for a female in Sarah's age group, 14 to 18 years, doesn't even matter, is 15 milligrams per day. Sarah has consumed 11 milligrams of iron today. Write and solve an inequality to show how many more milligrams of iron Sarah can consume without exceeding. So I don't want you to go over. And so we are going to start with 11 because that's how many she has. We are going to add some more. I'm just going to call it M. We have to stay under the 15, but it can be equal to. So here's your first answer. I'm going to solve it. So when I solve it, I end up with M is less than or equal to 4. And then when I graph it, now iron is something that we could have partial milligrams, I think. But can we do negative? No. So shade it in, and this is going to be a solid line here. Because I bet we could have like 1.2 more milligrams, but we can't have negative, so that would be your answer. Okay, a couple more examples. Josh can bench press 220 pounds. He wants to bench press at least 250. So that means he's going to be happy if he gets to 250 or more. Write and solve an inequality to determine how many more pounds Josh must lift to reach his goal. So we know that he can bench 220. We want to know how many more does he have to get to reach at least 250. So we want this total to be greater than or equal to 250. So there's one part of your answer. I know I didn't give you guys much room here to write. Okay, when I subtract this, my solution is P is greater than or equal to 30. Okay, and if I were to graph this, my 30 would go here. Maybe I'll just go by tens. So he wants at least 30 or more pounds to meet his goal. Okay, last one here. It says, what if Josh has reached his goal of 250 and now he wants to break the school record of 282? Write and solve an inequality to determine how many more pounds Josh will need to break the school record. So now Josh is at 250. We want to know how many more pounds does he have to do to be greater than, can it be equal to? And the answer is no, it can't be equal to 282 because he wants to break the record, not tie it. And so if it's going to be greater than, so there's your first answer. Then I'm going to subtract the 250. P is greater than, when I subtract, I get 32 pounds. So he has to lift more than 32 more pounds on his record there. So if I were to graph this, 32, 33, 34, 31, 30. Open circle on the 32 and it has to be more than 32 pounds. So make sure in those word problems that you are coming up with an equation, solving, and graphing. You kind of need to have 3 different components for those answers.